The harsh reality of inflation, 10 items out of reach for Americans. A recent study by Morning Insult and U Finance found that many Americans are finding it increasingly difficult to meet their financial responsibilities due to rising prices for goods and services combined with relatively stable incomes. As a result, inflation has become a major concern for a significant portion of the population. The study also found that inflation is currently at its highest level since 1981. While 2/3 of consumers are confident in their ability to pay their bills in full each month, there is growing concern about the affordability of monthly expenses. This is especially true for necessities like food, housing, and medical care, where costs have driven down the cost of goods due to inflation. There are now 10 items that were previously out of reach for most Americans, but are now within their means. Let's begin our list, but first, please subscribe to our channel if you're new. For most Americans, housing ranks 10th. One of the largest expenses is housing, and for Americans in particular, the housing market has proven to be challenging due to inflation. Numerous factors have contributed to the rise in housing expenses. House values. Even though an increase in property value may be seen favorably by current homeowners, it frequently leads to higher property taxes, which raises the cost of homeownership even further. Renters are severely burdened by this, especially in areas with fiercely competitive rental markets, where rent often takes up a significant portion of an individual's or family's income, leaving little left over for savings or other needs. The cost of homes has been rising alarmingly throughout the United States, making it more difficult for first-time home buyers to enter the market. Inventory of housing. A further issue is the scarcity of available housing. A lack of affordable housing options drives up costs and increases the demand competition. Number 9. Fuel. Inflation has also raised the price of fuel in general, including gasoline, which is a rising cause for concern as oil prices rise. The cost of gasoline is mostly determined by the price of oil on a global scale. The price of oil has increased in parallel with the cost of gas at the pump. Breakdowns in the supply chain are one of the many reasons contributing to the increase in oil prices. Geopolitical disputes and expanding disruptions to global supply chains and demand. Fuel delivery to gas stations has been increasingly challenging in recent years as a result of supply chain disruptions like those that happened during the COVID-19 epidemic. Environmental rules in certain regions require the use of more expensive, cleaner burning fuels, which may result in local shortages and price rises and drive up the price of gasoline to number 8. Number 8. Food products. Due to inflation, the price of goods has skyrocketed, making it more difficult for Americans to maintain their household budgets. Food costs are rising. The price of several food goods, including basics like dairy products, fruits, veggies, and meat, has increased. This is brought on by several factors, including increasing travel costs, crop injury events of extreme weather, and disruptions to the food supply chain. Packing that shrinks. To counter rising production costs, several food manufacturers have reduced the number of commodities in packaging, while keeping prices the same. The so-called shrinkflation tactic may mislead customers into eating out less. As grocery prices rise, some people are cutting back on eating out to save money. This could have an impact on the restaurant business's budgetary constraints. Families have also changed the foods they buy, selecting less expensive but less nutritious options that could have an impact on their health. Number 7. Medical care. Although the problem of growing healthcare expenditures has always existed, inflation exacerbates the situation. Premiums for health insurance increased premiums often translate into less money available for other essential expenses, placing a strain on people's budgets both individually and collectively due to the growing cost of health insurance and medical expenses. Even for those who have insurance, prescription medication costs, hospital stays, and medical services are all increased by inflation. People may thus incur large out-of-pocket medical fees. Many Americans have higher deductibles and premiums, which makes it difficult to get needed health care without having to pay a significant amount of money out of cash. Number 6. Mental health services. The rising cost of mental health services is a subject of particular concern because access to competitively priced mental health care is crucial for overall well-being. Number 5. Education. The growing cost of education, from K-12 to college, affects both parents and students. Tuition and student debts. Because college expenses are growing more quickly than inflation, students and their families are deeply indebted. Debt from student loans may affect one's capacity to maintain financial security years after graduation. Families' finances may be strained by extracurricular activities, school supplies, and sometimes even transportation costs. Online education. The COVID-19 epidemic necessitated a shift to online learning, which carried additional costs because of the need for technology, internet connectivity, and the influence of course materials on career decisions. The financial strain of growing educational costs may deter people from enrolling in daycare, attending college, or selecting a specific career path. Number 4. Pathways daycare. For many American families, the cost of daycare is becoming more and more of an issue, and this problem is made worse by inflation. The rising costs of daycare and after-school programs are making it harder for parents to balance work and childcare. Extravagant costs may force some parents, mothers in particular, to reconsider their career choices or decide to raise their kids at home. The cost of childcare is one of the main issues that working parents face. It can result in lower quality childcare or force parents to rely on unofficial arrangements that don't follow safety or developmental guidelines. Long-term consequences. The high cost of good childcare may have long-term consequences on a child's development and chances in the future, perpetuating cycles of inequity. Number 3. Dining out. The cost of dining out has gone up as a result of inflation, which affects American spending habits. The price of menu items has gone up as a result of rising labor and overhead expenses. Restaurants usually increase menu pricing as a way of passing these savings forward to patrons. Customer choices. As eating out becomes more expensive, some families may choose to go out less frequently, which could affect restaurant industry earnings and job prospects. Rising, ordering, and delivering. More and more clients are selecting these services over eating, maybe because they are less expensive. This shift in consumer behavior has also been attributed to the COVID-19 pandemic. Luxurious versus necessary behavior. Eating out was originally considered a normal and fairly priced luxury, but it is now seen as a special occasion and not a necessary luxury. Number 2. Travel industry. Inflation has had a significant impact on the travel industry, which includes both domestic and international travel. Higher costs for fuel. The pandemic's reduced capacity and airport fees are to blame for the rise in airline costs. Costs associated with housing. The cost of lodging, which includes hotels and rental homes, has increased, which affects the overall cost of travel. In addition to lodging and transportation, travelers must now pay more for food, entertainment, and other services at their destinations. Domestic travel as opposed to foreign travel because of higher prices and more limitations. Even though domestic travel is still more affordable for some, access to international travel has decreased for those on a tighter budget. The tourism and travel industry, which frequently stimulates local economies, has experienced challenges that have affected employment and the expansion of the economy in places where travel is crucial. Number 1. Household upkeep. Regular maintenance and repairs are necessary to keep a home in good shape and for the safety and well-being of its occupants. But due to inflation, home upkeep may become more expensive. Rising prices for building inputs, such as cement and building materials. Inflation affects the cost of roofing and lumber, which raises the price of homes. Renovations and maintenance. The expense of employing professional labor is rising when it comes to hiring plumbers and electricians. The possibility of higher service costs for these professionals may result in a rise in the cost of house repairs. Put off maintenance. Some homeowners may put off critical maintenance due to rising repair and maintenance costs, which could have a long-term impact on the condition and market value of their houses. Neglected maintenance fixes can reduce a home's value and, in some cases, have a negative influence on its energy efficiency or security. Retirement is a goal for many Americans, but inflation can make the process more challenging and have an impact on seniors. Older people on fixed incomes and low-income homeowners may find it more difficult to handle the cost of home maintenance and repairs due to inflation. So this is the end of our today's video. Do you like it? Kindly give your valuable response in our comment section below. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting and informative videos.